Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. As you saw in the first couple of photos there, Dan and I yesterday had updated the proper labeling of the Jesus fish symbol, and we did two different versions just based on the centering and some alterations to colors and different things so that we could layer in a ton of teaching things into one simple tool. So today, right after we finished that up yesterday, and Dan sent all the stuff over and I got to look at it this morning, I decided I'd come over to the trusty Gospel of Thomas and look at the saying about the fine large fish again. So I start with the saying. I always use the Lambden version, and I start with the saying just as it is. And when I'm looking at it, a few things stand out to me. 1978, 1960, and 6 in 1979. And for me, and a personal thing, right, 1978, where I began my conception, right, in 1960, right, it's the year my dad was born, but he was conceived and he began in 1959. And my mother was born in 1961, but the year she was conceived and began was in 1960. And then the big 6979. So when I start looking at it here, right, I'm seeing myself and my mother, right, and I'm seeing my conception, which is this 1979, right? My conception day was my inception day, 6/1979, right? September or December 4 in 1978. 12/4/78. My birth date 9/4/79. Different type of beginning, but not the actual in the beginning, right? Which is the 12/4/78. And then of course the 5708, which is all about Israel and the 31-year clock. And of course the Jesus fish is about all 31 characters, and that's what we've got putting on them, right? Z to 31 is the tail section of it, and I'm going to get into specifically just talking about that later, but what I'm doing here is covering saying number 8 from the Gospel of Thomas, right, and how it relates into the work that we've pretty well finished yesterday in terms of resurrecting fully the secret meanings of the Jesus fish before they were entirely lost by the world, right? The Jesus fish is an absolute perfect representation of God's word, right? And all of the information that we have put back on it to fully resurrect what it really means, right? You could leave that symbol of that fish anywhere, and anybody else that had the word and knew the word would know all of that information that we have relabeled, right? So that was a secret symbol. It's a way of putting something somewhere to let other people know the word is alive and well, right? And then the symbol hung on, but all of the information that the symbol was about, the actual word, God's word, was lost entirely to the world, right? The Pharisees and scribes have hidden the keys to gnosis. They themselves will not enter, nor will they allow those who wish to enter. You, however, be as wise as serpents and innocent as doves, right? They hide and they write, the scribes and the Pharisees, right? They hide the word, and then they write books and other things that are not accurate representations of the word, right? That's why I always tell you, right, the Bible is not God's word. The Quran is not God's word. The Torah, the Tanakh, not God's word. Right? It's some scribbling shit from the scribes. And what is actually God's word has been hidden from the world. So I kept on going with this Thomas work. So let's just put the saying as it is back in there. And let's create us a space at the top. And we'll go with Thomas. Saying. And when I put it in here, some of this relation into Israel, right? It says the one from 5739, it's 1979 right down here, and it gives us an exact date, 5708 of 9448. Exactly 31 years prior to 9479. Another one up here is a one from 5739, and we got another 1948 possibility of a date, 8548, and we have 1970, which is the first of those of the 6 total solar eclipses, which again relates into that 6/1979 work, right? Thomas saying 8. Now here we go, and we have the 1 from 5708. That's Israel, 1948. The 1 from 9479. Alright, that's me, birth date. Again, down here we have another instance of the 1 from 5708. That Israel. And we've got something else in here I'm not positive about, but this is the pair of keys here that stands out very big because that's all the stuff that I have been showing. All right, let me see something like. So we got the word Israel. That's an anagram for 1978, and we got 31 years to 1979, right? 5708 to 5739, 1948 to 1979. Israel, 31 years, right? Pretty self-explanatory, right? That's a 31-year clock on it. Let me go over to my little email I had sent Dan some of this information here, but I decided I'll just make a video, and we'll go this. And the first part, my conception day was my inception day, December 4, 1978, the 5708, the 9479, the 12478, right? And here, Israel 5708, 31 years later, September 4, 1979. Right, exact date. Then we have the other morals into the 9478. I'm not going to get all into that stuff, but if you've been watching, you've been seeing all kind of stuff related about that. Right. This is the information that was in the prior deal. Israel 5708, 31 years later, September 4th, 1979. This is Israel 5708, 31 years later, September 4th, 1979. Actual begin date 1978, 12/4/78. My conception day was my inception day, right? 6/1979. That's the 6th solar eclipse involved with the deal. So let's go back again. And let's do it one more time here. Right. Saying as it is, 1978, 1960, lad, madre, and my conception day was my inception day. Right. Thomas saying 9/4/48, 1948, 31 years later, the one from 5739, 9/4/79, the very first of the 6 solar eclipses, 1970, and again, right, another deal here with the one from 5739 and the 1948 date. Thomas saying 8, again, 9, the one for 9/4/79, the one for 5708, Israel, and the other one from 5708, and that the key, I'm not too sure about it. So then another way that I went about it, looking at it, was Thomas number 8. Right, is another way to say it. And here I got a 1978 and a 5749. And a 5749 is a way to say 1988, 1989. So Dan and I are working on this and finishing it up last night. The fish, the whole deal, 31 deep, everything fully resurrected. The entire meaning, everything about that Jesus fish and the symbol, right? And here we're showing this 1978, right? I'm 5739, conception 5739, birth. Dan's 5749, conception 5749, birth. So when I put this in here, right, I see the work that we had done yesterday, right? Yesterday's work leads to today's looking, and today's looking leads to yesterday's work. So when I seen this, I said, wow, well, that's some ironic stuff, because it's showing me in the beginning, 1978. Could be represented as 5739. It's showing Dan in the beginning, 5749. Could be represented as 1988. Right? So then here I'm going to put in 1978 and 5749. So the app crashed when I was typing a little bit too fast. So we pick right back up here. Thomas number 8, saying as it is. Right, 1978, 5749. And I'm going to put that in. Copy and paste it, right? So now what does it show? It shows 8, 5749, 57:49 and 8, right? All this saying that we're dealing with here. And he said, the man is like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of small fish. Among them the wise fisherman found a fine large fish. He threw all the small fish back into the sea and chose the large fish without difficulty. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. Right? And the saying too, that goes back to that, the symbolism, just leaving the fish symbol without all of the information that we have entirely resurrected and put on the fish symbol now, right? Everybody who had ears to hear and knew the word, that saw the symbol, already understood all of the information that we have put back onto that fish just by seeing the symbol. That was the secret meaning of the secret symbol that was entirely lost to the world, and then has been used for so long without people having the full grasp of what it was. But the symbol of the fish is so strongly associated with the word, the entire thing, right? The first script, A and B, and the second script, C to 31, the entire thing, that it stuck around, right? And even long after they erased everything that it was about, it still stuck around because it's such a massive thing, completely showing the word, right? People leave that symbol somewhere, and you have the actual word, and it had actually been taught by Jesus or by people that Jesus had taught. All they'd have to do is see that symbol, and they had the ears to hear everything that symbol was saying. All right, so when I put that in here, and it gives me a pair of the 5749 keys and a pair of the 8s for this saying right here, that is everything that we were working on yesterday, right? And when I pull that off, right, that's my beginning, 1978, and Dan's beginning, 5749, right? And there it is again, right? 1978, 5749. So when I come here today, the day after, completing it, fully resurrected, the fish symbol, all of its meanings, everything it's about, there it is, right? So rather than just send Dan over an email here, I just kind of document it today in a little video, show it, talk about it a little bit. But my interpretation of this is, it was already written and it was already said that when the fish symbol was going to be resurrected, it was going to be myself, and it was going to be Dan doing it. And here today, the day after it was done, I look at the information in saying 8, all about the fish, right? And now here it all is, saying so. Saying myself and Daniel was going to do it. And then now here we're going to start putting this fish back out into the world, fully resurrected, with all of the information and morals and layer after layer after layer of everything that it's about. We're going to put it back out into the world so that all of those fishermen out there, right, who are fishing, right, the wise ones among them are going to catch this fish right here. It is the fine, large fish, and they're going to throw all the other ones back. All right, let's flip over to here. This would be an example. Hebrew 1 would be of a little fish, or English 1, and like we've got all the different absolute garbage forms of gematrias on here. Simple English gematria, Chaldean, couple versions of Hebrew, all kind of little fish, right? The wise fishermen and fisherwomen out there that are fishing, right? When they pull up to find large fish here that Dan and I have now fully resurrected, right, and compare it to all of these other little tiny fish, they're going to throw all them small fish back into the sea without difficulty. Now, many people may not, right? They may not be wise fishermen or fisherwomen. But the wise ones, they're all going to throw back all these small fish. The Bible, the Tanakh, the Torah, also small fish. They're going to throw all those back, right? And to find like large fish is going to be selected by them without difficulty. So I wanted to show this here out of this deal, and I think it's very significant. Also, I want to thank Dan for helping me out with all of the stuff, right? And some of it's my ideas, some of it's his ideas, some of the stuff I inspired him, and then some of the stuff he inspired me, the different things. He did a lot of stuff on his own, the color coding, everything like that, right? He started that color coding and got my mind rolling on different things, right? And also too, I want to mention Randy again in this video, because this was all started about that 5730 and 5784, the Jesus fish symbol, the first and the last of the 6 total solar eclipses, right? What it makes, it shows that fish swimming through the waters, right, over the USA. And what was it, 1970, 1972, 1991, 2017, 2024, 5 total solar eclipses, beginning 5730, 1970, finished 5784, 2024. And you put the 4 crosses made on that last day in, it shows us the 6th solar eclipse, 1979, the 4 crosses about the crucifixion. Alright, same deal. 6 from 1979, right? That's the same thing that I was showing on that very beginning part of, I hadn't looked at that alone, but of saying number 8, as it is, saying number 8. Alright, 6, 1979, right. Me in the beginning, Mama in the beginning, all of that. But when I saw this, right, there's different ways to say it, right? There's a number there, 8, in number form, but it has a word, right? And it's from the Thomas Gospel. People call them sayings. So if you say Thomas saying 8, right, this is what you're referring to. If you say Thomas number 8, this is what you're referring to. Or just Thomas saying, and he said, the man in the, right, we're talking number 8, right, and then all of these key, everything tying in to me and in Israel in that 31-year clock, a 31-year clock. And this also ties into Genesis, right? Genesis 1 to 31, right? 1 from 1979. Genesis 1 is the full month, right? And the full month order, right, is the entire word. That's the all 31 characters is the entire Jesus fish, the entire word. The 26 characters that are used in the English language and are used to write and consistently rewrite the great year, the biggest cycle on the face of the sky, right? And then the 27 to 31 are the 5 trees of paradise. So we put it all together, and we're going to start doing some teaching about it, and we're going to about it and teaching with it. And I guess we're going to tie it into the total solar eclipses, right? Even larger than it already is, right? That's the symbol, the fish swimming through the waves. The fish, though, that is showing from the 5730 and 5784 total solar eclipse is the fish as it changes, swimming through the waters of time, great year after great year after great year, and it's actually showing us a skinnier fish, because as the great year turns and turns and repeats, that fit the body of the fish, that gap of those charges gets smaller and smaller. And we're going to look into building the fish and showing it swimming through the great years as well. And we can probably do some shape changing to the fish, right? The numbers will show the exact shape of it, and then it will show the exact change of it. All we have to do is adapt the symbol to the numbers each time through, right? So there's a ton more applications that we're going to be able to do it, but just like it shows the fish swimming through the waves in the 5 or 6 total solar eclipse images in a row over the USA, right? We can show that fish swimming through the waves of the great years as well. And we're going to look into doing some of that. So anyways, with all of that said, thanks again to Dan for working on this stuff, but it looks like here it was already written, and it was already said, it was always written, and it was always said that it would be Dan and I that would completely resurrect the fish symbol and what it is all about, right? So we're not navigating ourselves, we're being navigated. So with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. And have a nice day.